Landon, Autodesk. It's not an auto. It has nothing to do with the auto sector now, does it?
No, it doesn't. And I thought this would be a good segment for you because I know you have a lot of AutoCAD experience, a lot of design and all that. So
you would be
we'll be
shocked.
drawing on that.
You would be shocked to know how handy that I am. I have replaced my own starter in a car.
That's pretty good. That's
yeah,
pretty
there
good.
you
That's
go.
not what we're talking about, but it's good
change.
anyway.
Yeah, go ahead. All right, Autodesk, tell us what you got.
Yeah, so this is one that, again, is sort of surprising that we cover and have good signal on, similar to Salesforce last week, which we nailed, by the way. Did really well on that one, so hopefully we can get this one right as well. As you can see, though, people talking about buying their products, Autodesk, that includes AutoCAD, which is that computer-aided design program, Revit, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but it's building modeling, and then 3ds Max, which is for 3D animations. Anyone talking about those, joining their program, signing up for their subscription services, or buying their products, this is what we're looking at. It's actually a fairly good sample size. You're talking about 60 people a day talking about doing this. So we have a good sample size, and as you can see, it moves fairly well with the stock. And we've got a little bit of a pullback in the purchase intent, and now we've got a pullback in the stock price. Stock was up around 179 in April, and now it's down around 150. A little bit of a bump in the last couple of days. But overall, we're seeing a little bit of just slightly off quarter over quarter for Autodesk. I know that the street is expecting a little bit of an increase, and so we may see a little bit of a disappointment. There's a huge asterisk, though, with this company because this is, again, it's B2B, which is not our wheelhouse, although, like I said, we've done well with others like CRM. But also, this company has the majority of their customers are not in the U.S. And as you know, we are English speaking only. So we're not showing the complete picture when it comes to this company. But the data that we do have long term is really strong. I think that if anything, we may get a little bit of a pullback this quarter, and that could be a good opportunity for a bullish entry longer term.
Some of what Landon said may lead to the problem that you had finding effective tweets to talk about today, Evelyn.
Definitely. I was just going to say that I was trying to find people talking about really how they used the software, the various types of software, or really just how they felt about the company in general. And while I couldn't really find that, I did find a lot of examples of people posting different artwork and projects using various software that Autodesk provides, like their Maya 3D design software, and they have a notebook as well. And so I was seeing a lot of these animations and videos. So it seems, Landon, pardon me, I see where you're coming from as far as all of these mentions, because people love to post what they create using this equipment.
That being said, they're not talking about it on social media like that. They're just more posting what there's
videos, there's animations as far as like a GIF, a moving sort of picture or so. But so, Landon, you're saying that you do still compile data that's outside of the U.S., but it just has to be English speaking, correct?
Yes, that's right. So we don't really care where they're at. As long as they're speaking English, we can pick up on it. But of course, that generally speaking limits us to the Americas.
And what kind of competitors does Autodesk face? Well, initially when I was thinking about them, I was thinking about Adobe and how they offer sort of similar software for creatives. But like you're saying, Autodesk is B2B, business to business, whereas Adobe reaches out to that individual consumer.
Right. I think with Adobe, your Autodesk 3ds Max program, where they're doing animations for games and websites and things like that, would be a competitor for Adobe. But I think for the other programs, it's more about creating either products of 3D animation or 3D modeling, or doing more building software. They've got a couple of recent acquisitions with Ensemble and PlanGrid. Those are both in construction. One of them is building information management. The other one is for construction productivity. And so, you can see where they're going with that by picking up on both of those. And what they're doing is essentially just trying to power people in the creation of buildings and things and making them more efficient using computer-aided design. And so what they're doing is they're essentially putting blueprints and plans on iPhones and iPads. So they're kind of moving everyone in that direction. And so one of the things that I did want to mention longer term, we had that chart up just a second ago,
Consumer
that happiness chart. That is that's something that we like to look at for a longer term call on a company. And you can see that this is a quarterly view of happiness versus unhappy. The green is happy, the red is unhappy, and then that line at the top is sort of the ratio between the two. They're around 72% happy back in 2012 and 2013, and now they're at 86% happy. So they are, as they're adding more customers, these customers are happier, which is actually, believe it or not, contrarian to what we usually see with companies. Usually we see as purchase intent increases, happiness goes down because people's expectations were so high that they get a little bit disappointed. But with them, it's going up. And so that's one of the reasons that we really like this company long term. We just don't think they've had a fantastic quarter this time. And so maybe we'll get a little bit of a pullback, but definitely longer term bullish.
One last thing for our viewers, because sometimes the consumer happiness chart is a little deceiving, as it looks like it's trailing off a little bit, but what you're measuring is not necessarily the green or the red, but the relationship between the two, and that's what's improving, correct?
Yes, exactly. So if you've got 100 people that talk either positive or negative, and 82 of them or 86 of them are talking positive and 14 were negative, then that's an 86%. So it's really not about the total number. It's about that ratio between the two. And the total number of people talking about buying these products or signing up for the services for the first time is on the increase. A little bit of a pullback this quarter, just like this chart is showing. But overall, people are happier, and the longer term trend is more people are getting on board with these platforms.
So the key here is to measure that pink line on top, right? And its projection, not necessarily the green below, right? Because that's the end game, is the top line, right?
Exactly. You want to see what percentage of people are happy, and I think that's the most important thing here. On the other chart, the purchase intent, you want those going up. Obviously, we have had a little bit of a pullback, but it's still uptrending long term. It's just sort of on the lower end of an uptrend, just like the stock is doing. And so they're moving in sync very well right now. And again, I just think that long term, we love this company. We see a lot of great things coming from them and in the data and just what they're doing. But we don't see them blowing it out this quarter. And if anything, we could be looking for a small pullback. And if we get one, that's what we would love to have. We're definitely going to be bullish long term.
Well, Landon, going off of that long-term sentiment as well, would you say that since a lot of these mentions are out of the States, that Autodesk has a lot of potential growth domestically?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they've got over half of their customers are non-USA, non-Americas. And so I think that anywhere you're going to have any kind of either new products being developed or buildings being created, that's where they're going to be going for, because that's their customer. And the thing about it is they're making people more efficient, and they're turning people who maybe aren't super tech savvy into geniuses and able to do a lot of stuff with their very powerful software. And so the more that they can integrate with people who are building either products or buildings, then the better they'll do. And I think there is a lot of growth domestically, but probably internationally even more.